Running injuries. Every runner hates them, but almost every runner is going to experience a running injury this year. Running is a tough sport. It is an impact sport, you versus the ground. And so to prevent more injuries, we have to understand why injuries happen. So what's the cause of running injuries? Well, the number one cause of running injuries is too much load. What's load? Well, it's your workload. It's the volume that you're running, the mileage. It's the intensity, that's your pacing, and the faster workouts that you're doing. And it's also the stress, not just of your training, but of your life. It's your lifestyle. You know, stress from a job, stress from your spouse, stress from your kids, and maybe the stress of not getting enough sleep and having a poor diet. All of the stress inputs of your life, including your training, the mileage, and the volume, contribute to whether or not you're going to get hurt. And from a training perspective, I once had a great coach who described this as the 3 2s. This is what we want to avoid. If you want to stay healthy, avoid the 3 2s. Too much mileage, too soon before you're ready for it, at too fast a pace. That's what causes runners to get hurt. So if we want to stay healthy, we must address the problem of workload. And it's not necessarily that having too high of a workload is going to get you hurt. It's that increasing your workload too much from where you are right now up to the level that you'd like to be, that's how runners get hurt, by increasing their workload too quickly. So to stay healthy and not increase our workload too much, we want to avoid the 3 2s, and we can do that with 3 different strategies. Our first strategy is to increase our mileage and the distance of our long run gradually. Our bodies are not machines. We can't just give them any old type of work to do and have them work without failing. Sometimes our bodies do fail us if they're not up to the task. So let's ensure that our bodies are up to the task. I like to tell runners to figure out what their baseline mileage is. This is simply the mileage that you are comfortable running. It's pretty easy, you're not overly stressing yourself, and it's a mileage level that you could comfortably run week after week. And so you can increase your mileage or your workload much more quickly up to your baseline mileage than the old 10% rule. So you can move quickly up to your baseline mileage, but once you're beyond a comfortable mileage level, once the mileage level that you're running starts to be uncomfortable, it starts to make you a little bit more fatigued and sore, that's where we need to be a little bit more conservative than the 10% rule. Let's maybe increase our mileage by 5 to 10% once every 2 weeks. And this allows our body to adapt to the new stress level of our higher workload. Now, the other thing that we want to do is make sure that our workouts follow a sound progression. And a progression just means that it progresses from one thing to another, and then finally you get to your goal race. And so workouts should roughly be structured as general to specific, and by following that good progression, a workout progression that gets more challenging over time, that starts at a level that you are currently capable of and then builds your capabilities over time, that ensures that the intensity of your training does not increase too quickly. And by keeping the intensity relatively lower throughout the training cycle so that we are building it much more gradually, you are definitely going to reduce your injury risk far lower than the average runner. Now, at the same time that we are gradually building our mileage and that we are following a sound progression of workouts, so we're not just doing random workouts, we should be engaging in some strength training. Now, strength training is great for runners because it gives you the armor to withstand the impact forces of running. Stronger muscles, stronger tendons and ligaments and bones better withstand all the impact forces of running. So you're not going to get hurt as frequently. And what I love about strength training is that it gives you more flexibility to make dumb mistakes. Now look, we all make mistakes with our training, right? We accidentally run too fast with some friends who might be quicker than us. Or we go out for a 12-mile long run and get lost and end up running 14 miles. or we have to move our schedule around and we run 2 fast workouts in a shorter period of time. So we're condensing our workload into a much more brief time period. These are all issues that happen in our running that spike our injury risk. And strength training allows us to have more flexibility so that if we do make a mistake, if we do bite off a little bit more than we can chew, we're not definitely going to get hurt. And then of course, strength training has so many other benefits, from improving your performance and your running economy to your body composition. So there's a lot of reasons to love strength training, and injury prevention is only one of them. So in this video, I hope to help you better understand why injuries happen and some really high-level ways of structuring your training so that you're not putting yourself at an increased risk of injury. So look back on your training log. If you haven't been following a sound progression of workouts, that's something that you can work on. You can also look at your mileage levels from week to week and maybe plot them out on a graph. If they go like this and they're very inconsistent, that's another thing that can be improved upon. And then of course, strength training. If you're not doing some strength training, you should start with some body weight strength exercises. We have a lot of routines at Strength Running. You can Google or search directly on the Strength Running site the ITB rehab routine, the standard core routine, the gauntlet plank workout, the tomahawk medicine ball workout. These are all fantastic exercise routines for runners that are going to help you stay healthy. Now, one of my favorite projects over the last couple years was when I crowdsourced 9 elite runners' favorite injury prevention and recovery strategies. And I talked to runners like Amelia Boone, Dathan Ritzenhein, Max King, who do we have? David Roche, incredible runners. Ian Sharman, multiple Leadville 100 winner. And I asked them, how do you stay healthy? What do you do when you're training really hard to prioritize injury prevention? And I put it all together in a downloadable book that you can have at strengthrunning.com/elites. So go ahead and pick that up and really look for the patterns. Is there something that a lot of these high-level runners talk about in terms of injury prevention? Well, then you know it's really important. And by learning from them, you can better structure injury prevention into your training. So I'm going to put some links under this video so that you can check out some of those core and strength routines so that you can get that injury prevention and recovery black book, that I like to call it, that I have for the strength running community. And hopefully what we can do here is help you prevent your next injury.